Thank you. So to kickstart our Sea of Solutions 4th day, may I please invite Ms. Veronica Pedrosa, who will be moderating our sessions today. Veronica, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thanks very much indeed. Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Just a brief word as we begin this first ever Sea of Solutions Forum on Plastic Pollution Solutions, because after the discussion of the past 3 days, we need your help to integrate the information and inspiration that have been delivered and activate the partnerships we need going forward. You will have received an email yesterday and a notification on the conference app in the last few minutes with a link to a Google Sheet that's for you to complete. We want to visualize the potential for partnerships here. We'd like you to tell us the name of your organization and then offer what you can offer to reduce plastic waste pollution and what you need in order to intensify or increase your work. This is a kind of thought exercise and not a commitment, so that we can all just see how much can be achieved by partnering up with others. We really need as many of you as possible to join the exercise for this to be effective, so I hope we'll all take part. I'll continue to remind you about it through the day, and we'll check on a final tally at the end of the day. Okay. My name is Veronica Pedrosa. It's a pleasure and privilege to be with you this morning, and I'll be your host for the day. It is designed to be a culmination of the discussions we've all been involved in over the past 3 days. Now, let me welcome our dignitaries and delegates. Excellency Varawut Silpa-archa is Minister of the Natural Resources and Environment for the Kingdom of Thailand. Excellency Helen Ågren is the Swedish Ambassador for the Ocean. Dechen Tsering is the Regional Director for the UN Environment Programme, Regional Office of Asia and the Pacific. And Lillygol Sedaghat is Spokesperson for the Global Planet or Plastic Campaign of the National Geographic. So we have a really diverse number of keynote speakers as we start off. First of all, though, a video message from Inga Andersson. She is the Executive Director of the UN Environment Programme as a whole.
Hello from Nairobi, the headquarters of the UN Environment Programme. No matter where we live in the world, plastic pollution is threatening our way of life. We use 5 trillion plastic bags each year. We buy 1 million plastic bottles every minute. And as we all know, much of this plastic is ending up in our marine and coastal ecosystems. It's threatening our economic development, our well-being, our food security, our marine environment, and our health. But while the outlook is dire, the solutions are within our grasp. Whether it is to collaborate across borders and seas, whether it is to reduce, recycle, and reuse, and build circularity into our economies and way of life, whether it is to look at new materials for packaging, we truly have a sea of solutions at our disposal. That is why UNEP and the coordinating body of the Seas of East Asia are proud to convening this Partnership Week through the Sea Circular to inspire the market-based solutions, policies, and innovations that can make a huge difference in how we tackle plastic pollution at its source, protect the marine and coastal environment on which we all depend. So I thank you very much for your work and wish you all the best in the meetings ahead.
Great to have that message from Inga Andersson encouraging all of us as we embark on this forum. Now, may I call on Dechen Tsering, Regional Director and Representative for Asia and the Pacific for UNEP, to deliver the welcome remarks.
Thank you to the UNEP Executive Director, Inga Andersson, for her opening words. Your Excellency, distinguished Varawut Silpa-archa, Minister of Natural Resources and Environment of Thailand, distinguished Helen Ågren, Ambassador for Ocean at the Swedish Ministry for Foreign Affairs, distinguished Lillygol, Sedaghat, National Geographic's spokesperson for Global Planet or Plastic Campaign. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of UN Environment Programme, I want to welcome you very warmly to this forum day within the Sea of Solutions Partnership Week for Marine Plastic Pollution Prevention. I would like to particularly thank His Excellency Minister Varawut, Silpa-archa, and Ms. Helen Ågren, Ocean Ambassador of the Government of Sweden, as well as delegations and participants from so many countries from the region, and the Ambassador of Sri Lanka, Ms. Jayasuriya, Mr. Stefan Herstrom, Sweden, and Mr. Kees Reid of Netherlands for being here with us today. As you all know, we've had already 3 very exciting days of discussion about issues, solutions, and actions we can take to beat plastic pollution. We've been inspired by the contributions from communities, businesses, governments, and science, and it really has been a pleasure for UNEP and COP-C to enable this engagement platform here in Southeast Asia on an issue that is now on the agendas at the global, national, and local levels. Participants over the last few days reiterated the importance of science as a foundation for better decision making. While many aspects of marine litter require further research, it was clear that we have enough knowledge to take action already. A life cycle assessment approach to plastic pollution will be key to support a transition to a circular economy. But ladies and gentlemen, this must go hand in hand with better communication. The work of scientists can sometimes be challenging to understand outside the scientific community. So we have to simplify language so that all stakeholders can engage with the very important research that is being done. This week we've heard how important it is to leverage the extensive policy governance frameworks that already exist, and to see how we align global, national, regional mechanisms in relation to addressing the waste trade. And through the plasticity event, we've heard many examples of where and how the private sector has made changes to reduce the impact of plastic in the value chain. We have heard how businesses are embracing circularity to reduce their plastic footprint. But local communities cannot be left out of the conversation either. 97% of the PET recycled in Southeast Asia is collected by informal workers. So we have to ensure a sensitive understanding of their needs, interests, and the role of these groups as we look for solutions. But to be transformative, solutions must involve all of us. It must involve stakeholders from all levels: local governments, national governments, youth, consumers, businesses, civil society, and beyond. I'm pleased that over the last 3 days, we've seen so many exciting solutions from the region this week. And one of the messages that has truly resonated is that the conditions are there to move forward rapidly from pledge to action to impact. The plastic challenge, as with almost all environment problems, is complex, layered, and cross-cutting. Often we're asked, what is the one thing you would do to address climate change or to stem the loss of species? But the issues with environmental problems is it's complex. It's going to need action at so many different levels, and so collaboration and partnership must be key. So we bring together entities across stakeholder groups. The Sea of Solution event helps align efforts, identify synergies, and forge partnerships. There's a multitude of efforts underway, but we need to pull all of them in the same direction if we want to catalyze the system-wide change that's required. So in today's forum, we're going to escalate our dialogue to core areas of action where all sectors involved. We will focus on illegal trade in plastic waste, packaging, recycling, and e-commerce. And most importantly, today at this forum, we will invite and we hope hear commitments from various sectors. We look forward to commitments that are sustainable, commitments that are replicable, commitments that are scalable, and commitments where accountability is embedded so that these actions can produce a real transformation. I encourage you all to actively participate in contribution. So I would like to thank you once again for your terrific contribution, partnership, and being part of our collective solution on this very important issue in this incredible region, in a very beautiful country. Thank you.
I now call on Excellency Helen Ågren to join us. Excellency Ågren is the Swedish ambassador for the ocean. She's come all the way from Stockholm, and we're incredibly grateful to the Swedish government for all their support.
Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, Ministers, distinguished Varawut, Silpa-archa, ladies and gentlemen, friends of the ocean. In September, a little more than a year ago, I visited Thailand to celebrate 150 years of Thai-Swedish relations. We had very fruitful meetings to highlight and discuss the plastic plague with different Swedish and Thai stakeholders. I also met with UN Environment and COBSEA to discuss a new initiative, the Sea Circular, to be supported by SIDA, the Swedish Agency for International Development Cooperation. 1 month later, the initiative was presented as a commitment to the Our Ocean Conference in Bali. Now, returning to Thailand a year later, I'm impressed by the progress made and the level of engagement and commitment, as well as the broad involvement of stakeholders during this partnership week. I also want to congratulate Thailand for the successful presidency of ASEAN this year, resulting in the ASEAN Framework of Action on Marine Debris and adoption of the Bangkok Declaration on combating marine debris in the ASEAN region. With several of the actionable commitments in the framework already turned into national roadmaps, including ban of certain single-use plastics and awareness-raising campaigns, a strong foundation for accelerated action has been built. Now, let me share some national experiences and examples. In 1994, a producer responsibility was introduced for plastic packaging in Sweden. As a response, the producers joined forces and established material companies and collection companies serving the producers in packaging collection and material markets. The general public is contributing to material recycling rates of over 80% of PET bottles and some 40% of other plastic packaging materials. There are some factors that contribute to the level of awareness and willingness of consumers to sort the package waste. First and foremost, I think education at very low age. When I was a kid, we had voluntary nature schools teaching kids how to act environmentally responsible. Nowadays, waste recycling and creative activities using waste as material is part of the daily activities in kindergarten. And secondly, the foundation Keep Sweden Tidy was founded in 1983, and they are working on awareness raising, public opinion, and increased recycling. And every year, they are organizing a litter picking day involving schools, organizations, and sports clubs and companies. And when you are involved in cleaning up, you think twice before throwing litter in the streets. But even though we have quite high waste collection rates, we still face challenges regarding material recycling. For example, laminated materials, limited demand for recycled materials, low market value, and low quality of the material, but also low price on virgin raw materials and limited information on the chemical additives in the plastic materials. And to address these challenges, we need both policy development and business engagement in areas like strengthen economic incentives, standardization of materials, innovation in new materials, and recycling technologies, and also investment in improved sorting and upgrading facilities. The examples I have highlighted are not the only policies in place. We also have introduced a ban on landfill and ambitious national recycling targets and much more. And the EU has also a joint plastic strategy. Some of the things we have done might be replicated in other regions and some may not. However, without increased cooperation and experience sharing, we won't know. Sweden is also proud to finance the Sea Circular initiative and also to be the second largest donor of the World Bank's multi-donor trust fund, ProBlue, with a contribution of $34 million. This contribution, among many things, addresses plastic pollution, supporting countries in this region to develop national frameworks and plans. But in addition to this, we also need strengthened global frameworks. In a joint declaration this spring, the Nordic countries agreed to promote a global agreement to reduce and prevent ocean littering and microplastics. And we want to see result at the United Nations Environment Assembly, the 5th United Nations Environment Assembly in 2021. And we hope to join forces with Thailand and other ASEAN countries in this endeavor. And we are also promoting a global framework on chemicals and waste, taking an integrated approach on human health as well as environmental effects. Sweden and Uruguay are leading a high ambition alliance, and we would be happy to discuss new memberships in Asia that want to join in increasing awareness and creating enabling frameworks, develop ambitious objectives and targets, and speed up the ratification of existing instruments. So, Ocean Friends, in 2017, Sweden and Fiji co-hosted the first UN conference on oceans. Over 1,400 voluntary commitments were made to improve ocean health and support coastal communities. The second UN Ocean Conference will be held in Lisbon, hosted by Portugal and Kenya in June 2020. This could be an excellent opportunity to report progress on Sea Circular and other initiatives and to make new commitments by this region, together with the Nordic countries and together with the EU or any other constellation. I look forward to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador Ågren. We are grateful for your leadership and support. Without further ado, opening remarks now from Excellency Varawut Silpa-archa, Minister of the Natural Resources and Environment for the Kingdom of Thailand.
Dr. Dechen Tsering, Regional Director of the United Nations Environmental Programme, Regional Office of Asia and the Pacific. Excellency Helen Ågren, the Swedish Ambassador for the Ocean of the Swedish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Dr. Lillygol Sedaghat, the Spokesperson for Global Planet and Plastic Campaign of the National Geographic. Excellency Ambassador from Sri Lanka, from Sweden and Netherlands, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental of the Kingdom of Thailand, I am honored to welcome you all to the Sea of Solutions 2019 Partnership Week for Marine Plastic Pollution Prevention in Southeast Asia, during the 11th and 14th of November in 2019 here at the UN Convention Center in Bangkok. On the outset, I'd like to express my appreciation to UNEP COPSI and the government of Sweden for co-organizing this important event. My gratitude also goes to all representatives from the private sectors, academic institutes, governments and communities for your kind participations. I would like to also commend all of us here for taking the plastic pollution as a key issue to be vigorously discussed and to find the best solution to tackle its threatening impacts. With regards to the current situation that ASEAN countries are among the top 10 global marine plastic polluters, no matter how accurate the data was, we cannot deny the fact that marine litters or marine debris are created by us all. The issue of marine debris has become one of the most concerning environmental problems in our region due to its negative impacts on marine lives and ecosystems, which eventually destroy our healthy ocean and ocean-based social and economic development. To accelerate efforts and reaffirm ASEAN commitment in combating marine debris in this region, ASEAN leaders at the 34th ASEAN Summit in Bangkok adopted the Bangkok Declaration on Combating Marine Debris in the ASEAN region and the ASEAN Framework of Action on Marine Debris. At present, we are in the process of developing both national and regional action plans for marine debris. Moreover, during the 35th ASEAN Summit recently hosted by Thailand earlier this month, marine debris was addressed at the leaders' spouse program on sharing best practices on waste management. The participants emphasized on the importance of all stakeholders' participation in the process of waste management. It is fully concurred that changing human mindset and behavior is imperative. The concept of 3 R's may not be enough anymore. Actually, 4 R's would be more viable. It includes rethink, reduce, reuse, and then recycle. Moreover, the innovation and technology such as upcycling and circular economy are essential. Ladies and gentlemen, to tackle marine debris, we need strong cooperation both amongst the ASEAN member states and with our partners. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Thailand is pleased to collaborate with the UNEP on marine plastic debris through the coordinating body on the seas of East Asia, or COP-C. Thailand supports the revision and the adoption of the COP-C Regional Action Plan on marine litter, which is in line with the ASEAN Framework of Action on Marine Debris, and continues to take joint action in addressing marine pollution in the region. Thailand is one of the focus countries in implementing the regional project on reducing marine litter by addressing the management of the plastic value chain in Southeast Asia, or Sea Circular, which has a pilot site in Rayong province in the eastern part of Thailand. The project has demonstrated good practices on public-private partnership on solution to plastic value chain. I am confident that the Sea of Solutions Partnership Week on plastic pollution would be an opportunity for Thailand to share our experiences on the formulation of our national roadmap on plastic waste management 2018 to 2030. According to the roadmap, Thai people has joined hands together to ambitiously reduce a significant number of single-use plastic from our everyday convenience life. In this regard, I am proudly announced that the 1st of January 2020, 48 now, major retailers in Thailand, which own the majority of the convenience stores throughout the country, have collaborated with the ministry to stop handing out single-use plastic bags to customers and everyone. Moreover, single-use plastic bags will be completely banned by the 1st of January 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, environmental conservation has never been more active before, like this in Thailand. Thai people are very aware of the situation, as can be seen and evidenced by the last Monday. If anyone is familiar with our tradition of Loi Krathong festival, of when Thai people come together and say thank you and apologize and show our appreciation to the river, to the canals, to the water. Each year, hundreds of thousands of floats will be used as a means to apologize and to show our gratitude to the river and to the canals. And each year, hundreds of thousands of floats actually pollute our rivers and canals. This year, however, in Bangkok alone, the number of floats has reduced from over 800,000 to just merely about 500,000, which reflects over a 40% drop. People find ways to geniusly do the floats online through the apps which was very innovative indeed. It only goes to show that Thai people are very aware of what is going on. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the plastic bags, the bottles, and everything we are talking about, there's nothing wrong with them. They are not the one causing troubles. They are not the one causing the environmental impact. It's us, it's the humans that use them and throw them away improperly, carelessly, causing them to be clogged up in the drainage system, in the sea, in the ocean, even ends up in the intestine of some very rare marine animals, such as the dugong in Thailand earlier this year. So, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, I would like to reiterate that changing people's mindset and behavior is not easy. But difficulty does not mean it's impossible, though. Act now, act together, today, not tomorrow, not next week, and I believe that we shall gradually change the world. I wish you all to have a fruitful discussion during the Partnership Week and come up with a meaningful outcome which will enable us to move towards our achievement in combating marine debris, not only in our region, but also the world at large. And last, I would like to close my remark by quoting a short quote from the ASEAN Secretary. He said, "We did not inherit this world from our grandparents. We did not inherit this world and environment from our ancestors. We merely borrow it. We merely borrow this world, green pasture, and the environment from our children and our grandchildren. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's return this world. Let's give back this world to our children in a good shape." Thank you very much.
What an inspiring way to start the day. Thank you very much indeed for those encouraging, inspiring words. Excellency Varawut, I understand that you won't be able to spend the day with us, so we really appreciate your having made the time for us. Do you need to make your exit kind of now? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Another round of applause, please. Minister Varawut spoke about the need to communicate to people in order to change behaviors. Our final speaker for this opening session, Lillygol Sedaghat, spokesperson for Global Planet or Plastic Campaign for National Geographic, is also a storyteller. She too is somebody at the forefront of trying to move people to understand the need for change and how to change their behaviors. Thank you very much indeed.
This is happening in the world right now. There are people who are paving the way with solutions, coming up with creative ideas and technological prowess, following their passions and beliefs in order to make a difference. They exist across sectors, in government, industry, civil society, and they're acting across generations and ages through different lenses and multiple disciplines to make a difference. As a National Geographic explorer and storyteller, I've had the honor and privilege of traveling around the world to places like Taiwan, India, and Bangladesh to listen and learn from the stories of people engaging on the front lines of combating plastic pollution. Today, I want to share with you some of their stories. Stories of people using their capacity and willingness to make a difference in this world. This is the image and narrative that we hear when we think of the plastic problem in Asia. And yet it is a single narrative. It is not the only narrative. And I'm here to share with you that the solutions are in this region and are taking place already. I want to share with you 4 different stories from government, industry, technology, and civil society that share with you the actions and initiatives of people to do something and to come up with solutions. Our first story begins in Taipei, located on the island of Taiwan, 2,416 kilometers away from right here. The island was formed by the collision of the Euro-Asian and Philippine plates. 2/3 of it are covered in mountain. 90% of the 23.5 million population lives on the western frontier. It is constantly racked by earthquakes and typhoons. They have to import 90% of their energy, 70% of their food, 80% of their minerals, and yet they are considered to be one of the world's geniuses of garbage disposal and recycling, with over 148 circular economy initiatives and a 55% recycling rate. And the way they're able to do this is through an integrated waste management system, where they're able to take their waste and separate it into burnables, recyclables that have over 33 different regulated categories, and compost. And in major cities like Taipei, Taichung, New Taipei City, citizens have to pay for their garbage by weight, purchasing mandatory government plastic bags. And yet, recycling and composting are both free of charge. Composting is split between wet and dry waste, going towards fertilizer in the agricultural communities, and then pig feed for the pork industry. But this system didn't just come out of nowhere. In fact, there was a group of housewives who got together in the late 1980s who decided to do something about the lack of waste management infrastructure in their communities. Taiwan had risen to prominence as one of the great Asian tigers and increased their economic development and growth. But the result of that was a great deal of waste. And so these housewives had to walk their children through trash every day just to get to school. And when the government transitioned from under 4 decades of martial law to democracy, they saw an opportunity to organize and lobby the new government to create an integrated waste management system. And they did. They piloted the first composting program. They piloted the first recycling program in their own neighborhoods and communities, and then were able to transform the hearts and minds of the government leaders to take on the system that is now being applied across the island. This is a group of mothers who did this out of a necessity for love, who saw the environment as an extension of their own family and therefore had a responsibility to do something about it. But you cannot forget the role of policy in these institutions. And in fact, Taiwan is very integral in producing this notion of extended producer responsibility, whereby companies who are responsible for either importing or generating one of the 33 different categories of regulated recyclable waste have to pay a fee that goes into a fund that finances local waste management systems and provides green grants for entrepreneurs to work towards circular economy initiatives. Policy is just as important as people, and people are just as important as policy. Our second story is in the Ganges River that connects Bangladesh and India from the Bay of Bengal up to the summit of the Himalayas. This past summer, a group of 22 international scientists from across disciplines got together to do the entire 2,525-kilometer trek from sea to source, to track how litter, specifically plastic, is being turned into the river and flown down to become marine debris. Within this photograph, we had 2 members of our team that were sick with stomach flus, 2 who were the bearded ladies who would join us later in the afternoon, and then I was the one taking the photograph. But beyond this, we wanted to understand through 3 different lenses how plastic was being thrown into the river through the lens of people, land, and water. So we split up into 3 teams to be able to tackle this issue and to provide data that was necessary to understand how plastic was moving through this waterway system. Through land, every day we went into local communities, doing household surveys, conducting focus group discussion with women, youth, religious leaders to understand the relationship between plastic and poverty. What are the barriers to the access of being able to buy in bulk and use less plastic? Why is plastic being used as a tool? The second was their water team, and we went into the river every single day to collect samples from the bottom and the sediment and on the top to check for micro and macro plastics and to understand their effects on not only the ecosystems but the fishing communities. And lastly, on the land team that went out into the communities to track the waste management infrastructure or lack thereof and to count every single piece of litter they saw on the ground to create a characterization and a tracking of what ultimately went into the river. This was pre-monsoon. Currently, the expedition team is on the post-monsoon expedition, and this, what you see before you, is the first open-source plastic bottle tracking device that is used and in the shape of a plastic bottle to mock how bottles move through a waterway system. It was created by the collaboration of two men, Al and Craig, from the Aribada Initiative and Isotech Engineering. And they had a vision based upon the idea that so much access to knowledge is limited by your financial capacity. The two of them teamed up and were able to create, as I mentioned, the first open source tracking system to monitor how plastic moves. They wanted to apply the same concept that you would use in biodiversity conservation, tracking turtles as they went through the environment, to plastic. Why not? Why hadn't it been done? Together, they were able to get a grant and do it on our expedition. And now we have over 50 bottle tags flowing through the river. And in fact, this one here, named after Amy Johnson, a pilot who was known for her 1930s plane rides between the United Kingdom and Australia, has now traversed over 200 miles in open ocean, passing through 75 miles per hour winds and 6-meter swells to understand where plastic flows. This is a solution based in technology. The third story is a solution in industry. In Taiwan, as I mentioned, they have over 148 different circular economy initiatives. But for many people in our current economic model, what does this mean? How do we make the transition? Are we able to take the risk? And there are entrepreneurs who are doing that on a large and small scale. I want to share with you the story of T.A. Wu.
Soundproof, very cool.
He takes the glass from your used cell phones, the LCD glass, and transforms them into these lightweight, fireproof, soundproof bricks that they use in construction materials. His company is one of the largest glass recycling companies on Taiwan and is now moving inroads into Singapore and other parts of Asia to bring this technology, a new way of circular thinking and industry design, to the region. Then there's Arthur Huang, the founder of MiniWiz, the first trash-to-resource, high-value product company that takes trash and transforms them again into high-value products. What he did is he took Jackie Chan's Shanghai headquarters and made it completely out of trash. To reframe the mindset that trash is something that's disgusting, low class, something that can be reused, something that can be reevaluated and reinvigorated in the production of making something that you wouldn't expect. He was also very integral in creating Taiwan's largest recycled building, made over 1 million plastic bottles that can withstand earthquakes and typhoons. The last story I want to share with you is a story of initiatives that are being driven by youth. In Taiwan, cafe and consumer culture is a part of life. And when the YouTube video of the turtle with a straw stuck up its nose was released, a group of young people were so hardened by this and hurt that they decided to take action. And they created one of the first glass straw companies on the island. But beyond just doing that, they made it a responsibility among themselves to go to cafes throughout the island to inspire this movement and progression towards transforming cafe culture. that within those pockets of space, those convening areas, people could experience what it would like to live sustainably in their own way. And in India, we have a group called the Ganga Prahari, Guardians of the Ganga, that was formed by the collaboration of the Government of India and the Wildlife Institute of India. The idea was to create ambassadors of people from the local communities who live along the river, to reconnect them to the biodiversity that exists there, teach them about the migratory birds and the dolphins and the alligators, and really connect them spiritually, culturally, ecologically to this water source. They started in January 2018 with 67 members across that stretch of 5 different state lands of the river. And today they have over 600 volunteers that go into schools every single day doing river cleanups, forestation initiatives, education, to connect the people once again to this vital life source that is a thread among millions of people's lives. What I want to leave you with today is that this region, again, is home to its greatest solutions. You have governments that are closing the loops on waste. You have people taking the initiative and the action to make a difference. You have the technology and the research there to do something. And for all of you who are in the room today, I believe it's incredibly important to recognize the power and potential not only you as individuals have, not only you as representatives of organizations have, but as partners in being able to solve this crisis. Because the solutions are here, and the people are leading this forward. Now we can just have to scale up this energy and be able to really work towards solutions so that we can change the narrative from plastic pollution to plastic solutions. Thank you. Sawadika.
Thank you very much indeed to Lillygol. She has to leave a little bit early in the middle of the day, so if you want to hook up with her and tell her about your stories, please do that before she goes. Thank you very much indeed to all of our keynote speakers for their welcoming remarks and opening remarks.
Thank you, distinguished delegates, and thank you, Veronica, for starting today on such an inspiring note. Colleagues, participants, delegates, we will now be taking a quick coffee break that will go on until 10:30. So please feel free to step outside and recharge yourself with your caffeine or your choice of poison this morning. Along with that, there are some exciting and out-of-the-box exhibitions and booths, so please do feel free to check them out. And also a fashion show put up by Indorama Ventures' Reco Fashion Show, which is the largest plastics upcycling design competition in Thailand. Colleagues, we will be reassembling here at 10:30 for another round of exciting plenary discussions. So we will see you back here at 10:30. Thank you very much.